If you feel like your enthusiasm for your goals are waning, don't worry, I've got you covered. We are covering the 4 steps to persistence by Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich. So you're going to want to stick around. This is really important stuff, and it's going to help you stay rock solid and committed to your goals in the new year and beyond.
The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to Rat Race Reboot. I'm your host, Laura Noel. And as a certified coach and former 27-year military leader, each week I provide bite-sized mindset pivots that will help you reset your mind, reawaken your spirit, and regain your control.
Welcome back, everyone, to Rat Race Reboot. I'm excited that you're here. We are talking about the 4 steps to persistence in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. And last week, we talked about the first step, which is having a definite purpose backed by a burning desire for its fulfillment. So just to catch you up, how you do that is you start dreaming again. You start fantasizing again. You know, we're taught not to do that after a certain age. When we're little kids, we're taught that our imagination is wonderful and we're encouraged to use it. But not so much when we're growing up and we're sitting in a classroom. We're taught that imagination is daydreaming, and that has a negative connotation to it. So really getting connected to something that you truly want and desire with all of your heart, a C goal that is exciting and scary at the same time, and you have no idea how you're going to achieve it. Now, if you've been following me for a while, one of the things that I always do at the end of every episode is get you centered and grounded back into the vision of who you want to be. And oftentimes, I'm asking you to be aware of any ideas or thoughts or inspirations that come to mind so you can take inspired action. So we're going to start putting some of these pieces together. If you haven't already, go to ratracereboot.com. The address is in our show notes as well. And download our Quantum Leap Handbook. That is what we're working through. And if you're just catching up with us this week, don't worry. Just follow along. Listen to last week's episode about figuring out what that burning desire and that purpose is for you and that goal, that C goal. And then we're going to take it a step further. So that's the first step to developing persistence. The reason why people often fall off track when they're moving toward a new goal, a new vision, a resolution is because it's not the right goal, usually. It's something that is, looks impressive from the outside looking in. It's a goal that they've achieved before in the past and they're kind of re-upping it. Or it's a goal that's just an incremental gain or a step above what they've done last year. And there's no inspiration in that. It gets boring after a while. And your old conditioning will start to kind of chip away at you and pull you back to home base without you even realizing it. And if you don't have a burning desire for a purpose, then it's easy to get pulled back to home base. So that's what creating and crafting a C goal is all about, and having that goal statement. And the next step that you want to do is take that fantasy that you created last week and you start to turn it into a theory. So you're in that fantasy stage, you've landed on a goal, you have a goal statement, and through the use of auto-suggestion, you're repeating that goal to yourself. You're living from that goal, getting in harmony with it. When you make a decision that you are going to go for something, that's the goal, that's the star you're shooting for, you are in energetic, vibrational harmony with that goal automatically. The trick is in staying in harmony with that goal. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So the second step in this persistence is having a definite plan expressed in continuous action. And we're also going to tackle step 4, a friendly alliance with one or more people who will encourage you to follow through with both plan and purpose. So You have your goal. You're auto-suggesting it every day. That means you're repeating it to yourself. You're writing it down. You're saying it in the car while you're driving. You're making a song out of it. You're reading it on your goal card or the index card or the business card that you're carrying around with you. So to take it to the next step, we want to start to brainstorm this fantasy, and you want to start to turn it into a theory. So what you do is you have to carve time for yourself. You have to carve some quiet time out. There's no way around it. 15, 20 minutes in the morning should do you just fine with a notebook and pen in hand. And I want you to just brainstorm this goal. What are some possible avenues I could take? What are some ways that I could move in this direction? One of the things that I like to ask myself before I carve out this quiet time is, how can I serve? How can I move in this direction toward this goal today? And then I just get quiet and I just meditate and visualize my goal at the end state. Remember, I talked about last week living from the end, having the end in mind and working backwards. So when I'm quiet, I open myself up to receiving different ideas and different flashes of inspiration, and I write them down. I brainstorm ideas down as to how I can work toward that vision. So here's a brainstorming exercise that I want you to consider and actually work through. And you can read more about it in the workbook. I want you to get out a sheet of paper when you're seated down and you're quiet, and just write down on one side, on the left-hand side, why I can't, and on the right-hand side of that paper, how I can, and then draw a vertical line through it, between them. And on the left-hand side of the paper where it says why I can't, I want you to draw a big giant X through that whole side. You're not going to need that. You're training your brain to find solutions here. And then I want you to set a timer for 5 minutes. I don't want you to go any longer than this. And brainstorm, write your goal at the top of the paper, and then brainstorm different ways that you can reach that goal. And anything that comes to mind, write it down. Don't second guess it. Don't get into, but how would that work? Just write it down. And get into the practice of doing this every day for the next week. And over the course of a week, you're going to find some pretty ridiculous and funny ways of getting toward that goal that would be literally impossible, but be childlike with it. Again, you're training your mind to only look for solutions. Your brain is wired to filter out information it's familiar with. So if you're familiar with, why something can't be done, or you're kind of coming up against a brick wall, if you're focused on that, your mind is going to show you more evidence to support that. So this is a brain training exercise where you're only training your brain and your mind to look for solutions. So over the course of a week, if you have 30, 40 different avenues that you could take, you're only going to pick one or two of them that are viable options. And those are your strategies that you're going to work toward. Okay? You only want to pick one or two strategies at a time. If you have a multitude of them going at the same time, you're going to be overwhelmed. It's going to be too much. I want to keep you laser focused on one or two paths and plans moving forward. So pick two of those strategies, and then I want you to write them out in detail, what that would look like. What would you do? And this is all in that Quantum Leap handbook. I'll guide you through every one of these steps. But you're going to write in great detail your goal and the one or two strategies that you're going to pick and go with, and write it out in great detail. Then I want you to think about some of the to-dos that would be required on that path, and think about what specialized knowledge would you need to acquire? So if you are new to coaching or new to the online world and you don't know much about digital marketing or websites or anything like that, you might write, I need a website, I need a copywriter, I need a graphic designer. It doesn't mean that you yourself have to acquire these things, but you could start to build a mastermind around you, surrounding yourself with people who have that specialized knowledge. So don't get caught up in the how right now. Just write down your plan, some action steps that come to mind right now, and what are some skill sets and acquired knowledge, specialized knowledge, that you think you need to acquire to make this happen. And then take it a step further. Write down the names of some people that you already may know who have this specialized knowledge. We're talking about having and crafting a definite plan expressed in continuous action. So we're really creating the scaffolding, if you will, of this plan. The plan, the specialized knowledge you need, who might have that specialized knowledge. And I want you to write down even some action steps that you would need to take that you already know off the top of your head that you would need to take. And in your Quantum Leap handbook, there's a calendar there and a planner. I want you to start to plot some of these things down. And every single day throughout the week, if you're not already working on some of these action steps, I want you to have a running list every day of at least 6 things that you could be doing toward manifesting that goal and moving you in the direction. It doesn't mean that you're doing all 6 of those things every day, but I don't want you to be at a loss for things to do, okay? And then I want you to start reaching out to those people, put yourself on the hook, who have that specialized knowledge that you need, and start having conversations with them. So point 2 is a definite plan expressed by continuous action. So we're starting that process now. Point 4 in this level of persistence and acquiring persistence is having that friendly alliance with people. So when you start to write down names of people who have the specialized knowledge you need, start to consider creating a mastermind of people around you who have the skills that you need and you have skills that they might need. Have those conversations. Remember, you're the composite of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. So wouldn't it make sense to pick 4 or 5 people who have some skills and attributes that you could lean on, and they could also lean on yours, and you could help each other? Also, finding a coach or a mentor who can help guide you through this process. I mean, it's simple in concept, but when you have your old paradigms and old beliefs chiming in, or you feel like you're at a loss for a mastermind or people to mastermind with, or you're at a loss for opportunities, you don't know what step to take, it's very helpful to have a mastermind or coach who can help you overcome those blind spots. So I'm giving you the resources here, and I encourage you, if you want some support and help and you want to know what that looks like, go to ratracereboot.com. Download the Quantum Leap Handbook. You'll have access to me. Send me a message. Reach out to me. I'll also put the link to my calendar in the show notes. Book a call with me, a 15-minute consultation, and I'll get you pointed in the right direction. But it's imperative. It's so important because a mastermind, a good coach, and a mentor can help you compress time. And I've told stories before in previous episodes how my mentor, Bob Proctor, really pointed me in the right direction, and I started to skyrocket in my results because I had somebody who was looking at me from another perspective, seeing my problems or challenges from a different perspective. They weren't problems or challenges at all. They were really easy to overcome once he kind of pointed me in the right direction. And that's why I'm here for you. That's why I created this Quantum Leap Handbook for you, to get you started. So that is important. So next week, we're going to be covering the 3rd step to persistence and developing that persistence. And that is that mind closed tightly against all negative influences from other people and even your own negative influences, paradigms again. And I think that's probably all of these steps are important, but oh my gosh, that will make or break you. So I'm really excited to dive into this next week as well and take this a step further. So download the Quantum Leap Handbook, go to ratracereboot.com and leave your comments. If this has been helpful for you, share the message, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on whatever channels you listen to podcasts on, and leave your comments. I do read those, leave a review, and that helps us get this message out to more people. So to recap today, last week we talked about developing and coming up with a goal, a C goal, something that you are excited about, you're enthused about, getting up every day and working toward. You have that burning desire. And today was all about moving forward. You're taking that plan, turning it into a fantasy, taking that from fantasy to theory and putting it into a plan with continuous action, and then having the right resources around you, the mastermind around you to help you manifest it and put it into action. So we're going to end today the way we always do, and it's with the end in mind. So I want you, if you are in a safe space, to get comfortable, get connected with your breath, and think about what it would be like at the end of this year, the end of 2022. You are living your best life. You are living your dream. You are looking at the world from your goal as if you've already achieved it. How does it feel? And really bring to mind that mastermind of support who's around you. Who do you need on your team? Would you love to have in your corner? And if you've never invested in yourself with mindset coaching or business coaching, what do you think would be possible for you if you did? If that coach or mastermind could help you compress time, what do you think that would enable you to do? Think about celebrating all of the glorious wins you've had this year. What would you be celebrating? How would it feel to be you? What impact are you having in the world? And maybe even what ripple effect would that have for the people in your life? What would that mean to them? Your family, your community, the world. What unique gifts could you share with the world? And how would that feel? This is your life. And this is meant for you. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. Own it. Welcome back. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. And again, if you haven't already, download the Quantum Leap Handbook on ratracereboot.com. The link will be in the show notes, as well as my calendar link. If you have questions or you want to know what would coaching look like for you, I want to support you in that, and I welcome a conversation with you. Join us next week. We're going to finish up this series and Napoleon Hill's 4 Steps to Persistence. We're going to be talking about a mind closed tightly against all negative influences and discouraging influences, including those of friends, family members, even your own thoughts. That's a big one for most people. So until then, remember, everything is created twice. First in your mind and your imagination, always, and then in physical form. We'll see you next week.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.